Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1992's Candyman.
Helen.
Before we get started, if you would like to reach out to me or Corey on Twitter, you could reach out to me at Junior D's. You could reach out to Corey at Idle Poncho. Let's get into...
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Let's get into Candyman 1992. This movie stars Virginia Madsen as Helen Lyle, Xander Berkeley as Trevor Lyle, Tony Todd, the man, the Candyman, Cassie Lemons as Bernadette Walsh, Vanessa Williams as Anne-Marie McCoy. So this movie starts off with Helen and Bernie, or Bernadette. They've been interviewing people about various urban legends. One woman tells them a story about the Candyman. The legend goes that the Candyman will appear if you say his name 5 times in the mirror. She gives the story about the babysitter who apparently gets off when you say Candyman in the mirror 5 times.
I guess.
Cool. And if you could say it at least 4 times, I'll sleep with you. They go through these urban legends, and Helen is reviewing the recorded conversation with this woman who's telling the Candyman story. There's a cleaning crew, 2 ladies that are cleaning the university that she works at. They're like, "Oh, you're talking about Candyman? I got a lady down the hall. She knows all about the Candyman."
This is basically when Virginia Madsen's character, Helen, in this goes like full Karen, basically, for the rest of the movie. Like, she interacts with minorities. God damn it, I'm telling you exactly what I want, minority person. I don't give a shit. Go get your friend and have her tell me the story.
Kenny?
Yeah, what do you want?
Lady down here want to talk to you.
They tell her about Cabrini Green and the Candyman, and there were murders. She starts looking into said murders on the Microfiche.
I saw that and went, holy shit, is that fucking Microfiche?
Yeah, that...
I feel like seeing like a laser disc for sale somewhere. Like, holy, that's like a unicorn.
That kind of... That really aged this. I know, like, before we started recording, I told you this... It was in 1992, but it had, like, to me, it had a very 80s feel to it. And adding the Microfiche, I think, added to the older...
Oh, yeah.
The old-timey feel of this movie. So she goes on the Microfiche. She prints out some stories about the murders at Cabrini Green, and then starts looking at the building of Cabrini Green, her building, and shows Bernadette that her building was meant to be like one of the projects, but they were like, "Oh, it's in a better area, so we can get more money on it," and so they sold it as condos.
Helen didn't recognize the fact that she gentrified that neighborhood when she bought the condo. It was over at that point in time. Yes. They put in a forward operating Starbucks. They were good to go.
Exactly.
It was full gentrification time. And that's why they get so pissed at her when she goes to Cabrini Green finally. Yes. They're like, "No, bitch, we heard what you did at the other place. Get the fuck out."
We heard about you. Helen shows Bernie how which, by the way, for a nice condo, they still kept the medicine cabinet connecting the 2 apartments. Like, they didn't wall that off. Okay.
Do you know how long I've been jiggling my medicine cabinet since I watched this movie? I think I've almost got it to budge.
Wait, what are you doing? There could be somebody on the toilet.
She shows her how the apartments are connected. They do the Candyman call into the mirror, and scene's over. The next scene is her like going to bed, and her husband Trevor, who is shown an uncomfortable amount of times in this movie in a robe.
I just talk about Trevor as a human being all together. Please start. I know you were getting ready to say something.
No. A couple of things about Trevor, since we're going to talk about him as a human being.
Yeah.
At the beginning, after they do the interviews, Helen goes to his class and, you know, he agreed to not cover urban legends, but now he is, and she's pissed about it. But she goes down, and here's a PSA. If you think, like, when you walk into a conversation with your husband or wife and they're having a conversation and there's one person obviously lagging behind who's blushing and giggling and acting really weird or uncomfortable, they're probably fucking. Just go with your gut instinct there, which she initially does, and he's like, well,
I guess that's because she's madly in love with me. Those bursting adolescent hormones.
Yeah, he just ran head on into the lie. Well, of course she loves me. Look at me. How couldn't she? Which is my question. How is he getting any of these fucking people?
Because he's a professor.
You were correct. It's fact.
This,
They're not
first of all,
touching that Uncle Fester-looking motherfucker. Are you kidding me?
He's like, why wouldn't she be attracted to me? I'm balding. And, you know, I'm losing my hair in clumps at this point. I wear a fucking robe with a towel underneath. And that's my question about the robe thing is, okay, like, I'll wear a robe because outside of my wife, I have a child in the house. Like, if you're living with other people, yeah, robe, sure. You don't want to show your bits to people randomly around the house. You got guests over.
It's not always appetizing.
This guy's walking around with a robe, like rocking the robe, like that's the shit to do. Like,
oh yeah, he's hanging dong like it's his job.
He hates underwear.
He does. He does. I hate underwear too, but I understand there are other people in the house that need to eat food from time to time.
Bernadette and Helen visit Cabrini Green. When they get there, they park in the grass. Is there a parking lot somewhere that you could park? No, these bitches just pull into the grass like, no, this is mine now. We gentrified that. This grass is mine.
And do you know how fucked up of a human being you have to be to park in the one bit of grass there is in the projects? That's such a dick. It's green grass. That doesn't exist in a project. And you're just like, fuck this. Yeah. Have some tire marks.
I'm parking here now. So they go in, people think they're cops. They go in to investigate, you know, where the murder took place and yada yada. They run into Vanessa Williams here, Anne Marie McCoy. And she comes out with the dog at first. And
rightfully so. Again, Karen just plows through this fucking apartment complex like it's her own. What are you doing? This is the apartment that's empty now where that bitch died? Cool. Pah! Mine now. I'm going in. This is the bathroom. Pah! Mine now. Found the same hole that's in my apartment. Watch me walk through this bitch. Blah! Mine now. I'm out of film. I gotta come back. Thank God Bernadette was there to be like, bitch, are you insane? We're not coming back.
Oh my God. So she goes through, she takes all the pictures. As she's coming back out of the mirror hole, that's when Anne Marie comes in with the dog again, like, the fuck are you guys doing in here? And then Helen's like, well, here's my card. Why does she have a card? She's like
she's a grad student.
Yeah, she's a grad student at the University of Illinois or whatever.
And writing a thesis on urban legends. What is your fucking major? What are you studying that allows you as a grad student to write your thesis paper on urban legends? And you boil it down to Candyman. And we find out here in about fucking 5 minutes, you're not very good at research because you don't even know the background of this massive urban legend that everybody else knows.
High five. That's right.
The next scene is Bernadette and Helen at dinner with Trevor and Benjamin Franklin. And she basically, Helen goes into this like, oh, we're going to bury you. What's up, homie? And she goes into this like whole like, her liberal arts. She's got like big dick energy. She goes into this like, we're going to bury you mode. And Benji is like,
I mean, you do know the story, don't you?
Like, do you want to hear what the actual, do you know what the legend is? And she's like, no. Because I don't do fucking research.
Then how are you going to bury me?
And the whole time, like, Bernadette's whole role as her best friend is to be like, hey, Helen, How about you shut the fuck up?
Dude, that's
Hey, Helen,
literally...
how about we leave? Hey, Helen, we need to get out of here. That's her entire role.
Hurry up, Helen. Jesus, Helen. Don't go in there.
A woman died in there. Leave it.
Well, we found her. Let's go. Wait a second.
Benjamin Franklin, he goes into the whole Candyman was the son of a slave who came into a great deal of money because they invented some shoe thing manufacturing after the war.
Yeah.
And he became wealthy. He was a painter or an artist that a lot of wealthy men hired to do their paintings. He falls in love with one of their daughters and I guess impregnates her.
Well, of course, they fell deeply in love and she became pregnant. Father executed a terrible revenge.
He has his goons chase after him, rub him, like lather him in honey, and then have bees sting him to death.
I didn't know, like,
Cool.
They chop off his right hand. Okay,
Yes.
He can't paint anymore. I guess I understand if you're, against biracial couples in 1890, I guess that's a step you take. Like, fuck your livelihood. And then I don't know what happened. Like, the rest of it does, like, and then, and then, like, they just keep fucking torturing this guy. And it's like, well, why'd you take his right hand at all if you're going to kill him?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
You were correct. It's fact.
And apparently all of this took place on the land where Cabrini Green sits
Yes.
now. So
Yes,
Helen goes
Chicago
back.
was not cool in 1890.
No, Chicago was not cool in 1890. So Helen goes back to Cabrini Green on her own this time, like by herself. She meets a kid named Jake because Anne Marie is not home. Because she has to go to fucking work, and she's not working on
Yeah.
an urban legend thesis for
Yeah.
for university. So she meets Jake, who gives her more Candyman info. Another death was attributed. Some kid got like castrated and murdered in one of the bathrooms at Cabrini Green, and so he takes her there, and she goes in. There's shit smeared on the wall. Sweets
Dude,
for the
who
sweet.
writes? Who writes in shit? And do you use your hand or is it like a paintbrush? Do you bring a
I don't-
roller?
I don't know.
I don't
but-
understand
but
how shit writing works.
that shit was caked on there too. It wasn't like smeared. Like it was thick. And she's taking pictures of the shit, and then she opens the toilet. There's bees in the toilet. She goes to leave, and then some goons walk in. A guy who is dressed like Candyman, which,
Yes.
sure, he heard the urban legend, was like, I'm going to get a duster jacket too and a hook. So he claims to be Candyman. They beat the fuck out of her in the bathroom and leave her. Her eye looks worse than Rocky's eye after Apollo Creed beats the hell out of him in the first Rocky.
It's like a piano fell on her face. It is just horrible.
So Helen goes back. Helen goes to the precinct and identifies the assailant, which is kind of funny because they make him say the line.
We're here looking for Candyman, bitch.
We hear you looking for Candyman, bitch. We hear you looking for Candyman, bitch.
The detective's all happy because nobody in Cabrini Green will. They know that he's responsible for a lot of murders in Cabrini Green, but everybody's scared of the whole Candyman thing, so nobody will say anything, and he's never been arrested. So Bernadette here gives Helen slides from her camera that she thought was destroyed, and on the way back to her car, she's looking at slides. She gets confronted by the real Candyman. He tells her that she caused the belief in him to drop, so now he's in danger of like not being in existence at all. Like it's almost like
it's Freddy versus Jason.
I was just gonna say they stole a little bit from Freddy Krueger in this one.
You are all my children now.
Finally, we get to fucking see Tony Todd for like a full
Yes.
scene, not just cutaway flashbacks. We're finally introduced to the real
Yes.
Candyman.
Yeah, exactly.
And once he steps on scene, First off, I didn't remember him owning that outfit the way he did. Sweet, those polyester ass pants, which is, by the way, why you keep getting caught on fire is because you're wearing polyester. But the pants and boots he was wearing,
The
fur
jacket.
coat,
Yep.
dude, he made supernatural slashers look cool as fuck.
So, he starts talking to her in the parking garage. She loses consciousness and she wakes up to Anne Marie McCoy screaming, and she's in her bathroom at Cabrini Green covered in blood. Here's another quick PSA. Hi kids. If you find yourself passed out and then you wake up covered in blood, which is obviously a murder scene now, and you check yourself and you're not stabbed or anything, and there's a knife or a meat cleaver or some sort of weapon, don't pick it up. Don't touch it. Just leave it there. She opens the door to the bathroom, finds the dog's head chopped clean off. She goes into the bedroom, and literally there's like blood. There's way too much blood at this in this apartment, because she opens the door to the bedroom to where Anne-Marie's standing over the crib. There's blood all over the crib. There's blood on the bed, on the floor. I don't think the dog had this much blood in his body. But there's
I don't
blood
think the
everywhere.
elevator in The Shining had this much blood in it. There's blood everywhere.
But this is a great scene. I dig the whole scene.
No.
She's holding the meat cleaver. Anne-Marie sees her, says, "Where's my baby? You stole my baby." They start fighting. And when I say they start fighting, Anne-Marie starts beating the shit out of Helen.
Dude, she's just banging the fuck out of her head. And Helen's going, please stop. Stop that. Please stop that. She finally gets it through her head that she's got to hack away in order to get out of that.
So she hacks at Anne-Marie's arm. You get the blood squirt. She's standing over with the meat cleaver, and the cops bust in. Dun-da-da, you're under arrest. So the next scene is her at the precinct, and the once nice detective that's like, "Hey, thanks, white lady, for helping us with the Candyman," is now like,
Yes or no?
The really weird scene here is her like going through the strip search. She's covered in blood, and like all of her clothes and shit are sticking to her. She's crying.
Like when she peels the bra off, like you can hear it because her back's to the camera. You just hear it peel off of her skin.
Yeah, and you have the cop that's just like, "Just drop it on the floor and slide it over to me."
Remove your sweater, drop it, and slide it over to me.
She's still like, "I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm covered in blood."
What I love is she's still so ingrained with her privilege that she's going, "I need to call my husband while she's taking clothes off. I need to take a fucking shower while she's taking
I need to take a shower."
What do you think is happening? You're not at a resort. Calm down. We're processing you as we see fit.
Yes.
This chick is unbelievable. "I need a phone. Can I have cucumber water?"
They're basically saying, "You're responsible for the kidnapping. Where's the baby?" She doesn't know where the baby's at. Yeah.
I don't know if you picked up on this. I hate when they do this in movies, though. They were like, "Tell us what happened to the baby." And she picks her head up, and the guy goes, "Hurry up and tell us." And then she goes to speak, and the other cop goes, "Tell us now, goddammit." It's like, will you fucking let her talk? I know you're trying to get through the scene, and there's a lot of stuff you're trying to cover, but at the same time, there's like, that's not how an interrogation goes.
You were right.
But again, we're in another movie where the cops are so epically bad at their jobs.
Yes, exactly.
The detective can't bust the fake Candyman, the real person, because nobody will testify. So until he got Helen to come in, he had nothing.
Yes.
Then he finds Helen, looks at this dog's head, doesn't see a baby, can't find a baby. Helen's confused and is freaked out as much as anybody, and you're just like, "Yeah, bitch, it's clear you did it. I mean, what are we doing?" You're a horrible cop.
The next day, she gets released into Trevor's custody. Trevor and his lawyer come. They take her through, the gang of reporters that, are there and whatever. They take her home.
Which was so weird. Like, this is Chicago and that's the hot trial?
Yeah, I know. Like, that's...
You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. And because, I mean, I know times have changed. We keep saying that. But even still in 92, they didn't care what happened in the projects, being the media.
No.
Baby goes missing, 9-year-old goes missing, 13. It doesn't matter the age range. They don't care.
It was a blip on the radar. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Maybe,
yeah.
Listen, in the news, it's always been, if it bleeds, it leads. Like, maybe they found out just how much blood was at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, right.
And they were like, we need to get on this ASAP. The next day, Helen's looking at the slides that she took at Cabrini Green, and she sees Candyman standing next to her in one of the slides. And he then appears to her again, comes out of the cabinet. And this is when Bernadette shows up again with flowers just to check on her. Like, my friend's, accused of, like, kidnapping and cutting a dog's head off. I'm just going to see how she is. Like, Bernadette's a better friend than Helen deserves at this point.
She's a better friend than I would be. I know that. Let that warning ring loud and clear, brother.
Listen, we've already explained on this show a multitude of times that we're horrible friends. In this situation, you're not even getting a text from me. Bernadette shows up. She gets murdered by Candyman. And Trevor walks into the apartment. Helen's on the floor in the kitchen. She's covered in blood again. She's got a knife in her hand. And Trevor's like, this bitch crazy. She's fucking killing everybody.
Helen again, this is on her. This whole thing is all her fault. Because one, Candyman's telling her, like, all you have to do is be my victim, and I'll let that little baby go.
Yeah.
It's all good. Bernadette didn't need to get killed. She didn't have to walk into that apartment, but Helen goes, no, don't come in.
Yeah.
Now, if I hear somebody saying that to me outside the door, all jokes aside, being a friend, I'm kicking the fucking door in and coming to see what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Because something very weird that's not normal.
Yes.
All Helen had to do was, again, shut the fuck up. Because if she shut the fuck up, Bernadette would have left.
So after this, she gets sent to the loony bin, apparently. That's not the PC term, but...
The proper term is nut house, I think.
Nut house. There you go. So she gets sent to the nut house. And she eventually gets taken to Dr. Burke. And she's told she's been there for a month. She's basically been sedated for a month. And the funniest part...
That was that was a neat reveal. That was the best reveal of the movie.
Yes.
In fact.
Yes. Well, and the funniest part about this is she gets wheeled in, basically. And she's strapped to the chair. And she looks at Dr. Burke and she goes...
Do you really think these restraints are necessary?
First of all, let's go down the list. You're going down for murder 1, okay? For killing Bernadette. So you already have a murder on your head. You got a dog's head chopped off, clean off, like only psychos do. And you got a kidnapped baby on your head. You got a couple of cases. Yeah, they're fucking necessary.
Necessary? Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine? No. But I do it anyway because it's sterile and I like the taste.
Especially considering when you met the mother of that child, you were like, oh, I'd love to have kids, but I don't.
Exactly. So
psycho white ladies in there shopping for fucking kids.
She realizes
they should have named her character Angelina Jolie.
So she decides, this guy's obviously not letting me out of this place. I've already been here a month. I need to get the fuck out of here. So she summons Candyman. And
this scene is fantastic. Especially when Burke is getting ready. Like, he's got his pen and he's just sitting there kind of humoring her. And he's getting ready to actually be like, do you see now? This isn't happening. And right when he goes to speak, just a...
Yep. No, it's fantastic. So he hooks him and guts him from the back. And then he flies out the window like Spider-Man. And she's like, he unhooked my restraints. Should I sit here? Nope. I'm out the window. I'm escaping the hospital. I'm beating the shit out of a nurse and taking her outfit. And that's how I'm getting out of here. And she's gone.
Now, I think it would have been a fantastic part if this ended here. The entire movie just ended, where she sees Candyman fly out the window backwards, and she's like, dope! And she runs up to the window and does it too, and then just splat.
High five. Great.
So Helen goes to her apartment because, Trevor and stuff. She walks in and finds them redecorating the apartment. The whole apartment's pink. So she sees Stacy, his Trevor's student, in there painting. I do like this whole scene because, Trevor comes back out again in his bathrobe and towel. Like, bro, put some motherfucking clothes on. What is your problem? Always in a towel and slippers. Stacy is scared, right? But I don't know if she's scared and like crying or if she's laughing. She doesn't do a fantastic job. Even though I like the scene, she does not do a fantastic, like, you're scared. You're not sure if she's going to kill you. And action. Like, she has this, like, weird, I'm crying but laughing face. It's that kind of annoyed me. I do like the scene, though. She confronts them, and then she's like, well, I guess you guys are going to call the peeps, so I gotta bounce out of here. And then Helen goes back to Cabrini Green.
Yeah, because Tony Todd starts talking to her and is like, I'm your only option.
Yeah, exactly.
Come and get it. It's like me, 2 a.m. at a bar.
She goes into Candymans Lair, which I would like to touch on that for a minute, because when she goes at the beginning and knocks, they see the hole in the mirror, and she goes and it's like, oh, in Cabrini Green, that should be the next apartment. Whose apartment? This thing is massive. Like, it's bigger than every other apartment in Cabrini Green. Like, is that the landlord's apartment? Or it was supposed to be? Like, I don't know whose apartment it is, but it's massive, and it's now Candyman's Lair. So she goes in there. She finds him sleeping.
This apartment, Candyman's Lair, is right next to Anne Marie's apartment.
Yes.
Right? The baby, Anne Marie's child, is in Candyman's Lair, which is right next door to Anne Marie's home.
Yes.
That baby is crying nonstop.
Yeah, throughout the entire movie.
From the second you see that baby, it's crying and it doesn't quit ever. Nobody heard that baby crying. The entire city of Chicago is out looking for this child.
Yes.
And it's next door, crying the whole time.
Yes.
Come on.
Okay. I'm not buying it. So she finds Candyman sleeping, which he's not a real person. Like, he's like a I don't know, a ghostly figure. He's a whatever.
Yeah.
So, but he needs sleep, apparently. So he's taking a nap. Candyman needs to take some nap time. So he's taking a nap, and she goes up with the hook and tries to kill him. She hooks him in the neck. You get the little squirt. He tells her to surrender to him. He tries to kiss Helen, and bees swarm out of his mouth. They're all over her.
Tell me you didn't think when that scene started, he goes, "Roar," and all the bees are pouring out. You didn't, like, flash cut in your mind to Nicolas Cage.
No, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
My mind automatically went to special effects. In 92, these were all, like, shot live. Like, there wasn't CGI. I want to know how they shot this. Like, okay, Virginia, you're going to lay down here, and we're just going to pour bees on your face. Like, I want to know how it was shot. And again, because we don't do research here, I didn't look into it. But it's something that I would really like to know. So if anybody knows how they shot it, just comment below. But it was a really cool scene, and it made my spine tingle, because I don't like bugs anyway. Bugs and flies and, like, nasty shit like that. And I hate bees. And just to see the bees in his mouth, like, it immediately made my face itch. Helen wakes up alone. She's looking at the walls of the lair. She realizes through the paintings on the wall that she's the image of Candyman's lost love. She hears the baby crying outside from the large burn pile that they've set up at Cabrini Green. Mm-hmm. So she goes into, the pile. She climbs in, tries to save the baby. Jake sees her out there with the hook and basically calls everybody at Cabrini Green like, Candyman's in the pile. We gotta go. Hey, everybody! Candyman's on the pile.
Well, I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
This is, first of all, the biggest, most elaborate maze pile I've ever seen in my life. So she gets in, she finds the baby. Candyman shows up and doesn't want to let her go. They throw gasoline on it. Everybody at Cabrini Green's out there. Everything's up in flames. So she tries to save the baby.
And again, nobody pre-fire heard the baby crying in the bottom of the pile.
Yes.
Nobody even thought to look that the crazy lady who fucking chopped the dog's head off and stole a baby may have put it under the bonfire pile. Yes. There are so many issues.
Oh, yeah.
In this. Now, to be clear, I love the movie, but boy, do I got some issues.
Oh, no, absolutely. So she crawls out with the baby. She's on fire, and they put the fire out. Anne-Marie sees the baby. She's got her baby. Yay. And then they cut to Helen. She ain't got no hair. Her hair is all burned off.
No,
now
she's all kinds of dead.
Yeah, her head looks like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, she looks like she's staring at the picture on the Pope. That was 92-ish, wasn't it?
Yeah. So she dies, and they cut to her funeral. And it's only Trevor and his girlfriend Stacy at the funeral.
And you can tell Stacy doesn't want to be there because when they have to go to cross themselves, dude, hers is like...
And the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Everybody from Cabrini Green shows up. Jake has the hook that apparently he got from the burn pile because Candyman burned up in the burn pile. Throws that into the hole.
Sorry I burnt you alive, lady who didn't do anything wrong, it turns out. Here's the hook. I didn't get that at all.
No, I didn't.
You murdered a woman by burning her alive.
But they also killed Candyman.
You weren't prepared to start the bonfire until you saw the white lady climbing into the rubble. And then you're like, oh shit, it's bonfire time! Candyman, y'all! Candyman!
Well,
and nobody thought to be like, oh, well, maybe we should actually verify the Candyman's in there, because they all believed in him.
Yes.
But instead they're just like, yo, little ass Jake just told us Candyman's in there. He's 8. He knows all of his ABCs. He can count to 100. He can multiply by 9s. Burn this shit. Clearly, it's easy.
Listen. So they killed Helen, okay? That's fine. Helen was going to end up dead at some point anyway. Like,
I don't have a problem with Helen being dead at all.
Her and her Scooby-Doo tactics, she was going to get killed at some point in her life. And so she died in the fire. Okay. But they killed Candyman. Mission accomplished. Like, it's cool. And again, he was like, hey, sorry you're dead, lady. And apparently you didn't do anything wrong. Here's the hook, because we killed Candyman, and you helped us do that. After the funeral, they cut to Trevor and his new girlfriend, Stacy, who apparently doesn't like wearing a bra, ever.
I like her not wearing a bra either.
So they're at their apartment. Trevor's in the bathroom. She's trying to get him to help him make dinner. And he's obviously very upset and crying and shivering over his wife's death. She keeps yelling at him. I just wanted Trevor in this scene to go, I'm taking a shit! Would you leave me the fuck alone? But she gets all like, I'm so mad because he won't come out of the bathroom. And he's so sad about his wife's burning to death. Like,
it's been a day since the funeral, and he won't help me cook a steak? What an asshole. She only burnt to death. Let's fry some meat.
She's mad. He's in the bathroom. He says Helen's name 5 times or whatever in the mirror. Shuts the light off. Helen shows up. murders him. The girlfriend comes in because, Helen's the new Candyman now. And the girlfriend and her nipples scream at the dead boyfriend. And there you go. End of movie. So.
Question.
Yes.
I'm genuinely confused here. I'm not trying to really make a joke here. Candyman says that he has come back because Helen has made people not believe in him.
You are not content with the stories, so I was obliged to come.
Yes.
And he needs them to believe, so his congregation can continue to rise and grow.
Yes.
But Helen is also the spitting image, the reincarnated being of his lost love.
Yes.
But Helen only knows about the Candyman because she's doing this research paper, and he only appeared because she said his name 5 times in the mirror.
Yes.
There's 3 separate, lanes we're trying to drive down here.
But they
pick one
converge.
and stick with it.
They all converge.
Because there's no other way. Sometimes there's just going to be a mass accident when everybody drives like an asshole.
Very true.
That is my one thing where I genuinely found myself confused in the movie is the overall motivation of Tony Todd's Candyman.
So when I first watched this movie back in 92, whatever, because I think I saw this in the theaters. When I first saw this movie, I was like, this movie's dope. It was a very good movie then. It still is a very good movie now.
It's still very different.
Yes, it is. It's really different, and it's not the typical slasher type movie, which I like too. There's a story behind it, and there's other things happening.
And as much as we're talking about, Helen being a Karen, this movie also was one of the first horror movies that did have a predominantly black cast.
Yes.
And had, Tony Todd was one of the first black male slashers, for lack of a better term, in that Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers kind of set.
Yeah.
It really was an interesting, different take on those movies.
Yes. No, it really was. And I think it still holds up today. There's obviously a few, I don't know, there's a few issues with the movie. There's obviously things we can make fun of. You can make fun of every horror movie. Let's just face facts. But there was a few things like what you brought up, the different lanes that this movie kind of all made converge together. There was a few questions I had.
Right.
I would really like to see, because I'm sure there's a whole fan, page or pages of stuff that kind of breaks everything down. Because I never really, when I first watched it, I never really paid attention. It was just it's a movie, it's entertaining, death and stab and hooky and whatever. So exactly. I was cool with all that. Watching it now with a more critical eye and trying to break it down, I'd really like to get into the weeds, because I'm sure once you get into the weeds, it's fucking crazy. So
it's like all these horror movies. Once they start spinning off, and they have so many fan theories and different ideas about this stuff. It would be fun to actually sit down and go through a lot of what other people saw in this, or especially just to clear up some of the confusion.
Yes.
If a horror film wise, this absolutely still stands the test of time.
Oh,
so
100%. It's a classic. It's up there with the other great originals. It deserves to be watched every year.
Absolutely. So with that being said, if you haven't seen it yet, go out and watch it. I know if you haven't seen it yet, A, what are you waiting for? And B, we already ruined the whole movie for you, but go watch it anyway. So
you just read the audiobook of Candyman, performed by Corey and Armando.
So do you have anything else?
This is a Random House publication. I don't. I am good to go, sir.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1992's Candyman.